Hey everybody, welcome back. Kovak here, and at long last I'm finally getting on with the whole tier pets that I have put together for Shadowlands. I have here what I believe to be the top best 30 tier 1 pets in the Shadowlands meta currently, with quite a bit of honorable mentions that I will talk about later on. Now before we begin, keep in mind that this is all opinionated, so any pets that you feel as though are also tier 1 or pets that you feel like should have been on the list, be sure to let me know that down below. I'd love to hear everyone else's ideas. This is just personally what I believe to be, as well as a bunch of others, so I can guarantee you that quite a bit of other people would agree with these certain options as well, so just keep that in mind. Oh, and if at any point that I go quiet in this, it is probably because I am downing a bit of my drink, as this will be quite a bit of information that I'm going to be talking about. I'll be going over where to get them, the best breed for them if there are multiple breeds, and then the best movesets and all that good stuff there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this, and in no particular order. We're going to kick this off with the Blazehound here. Now, Blazehound, I would consider it probably the best trap user in the game out of all the other ones. It's not the hardest hitting, but there's just so much great utility with this pet, with its pretty fast speed, with its speed balance breed, and its trap still hitting pretty decently hard for something that will interrupt, well, do damage and then interrupt someone's turn whenever it decides to go off. So overall, yeah, I'd consider this probably the strongest trap user in the game. Again, speed balance breed is probably the one you're going to want to go with, but I've seen some people use the power and say that they do prefer it, so roll with what you like there, I suppose. Now, Blazehound is a very easy to pet to get your hands on. It is a drop from Shanax in the Firelands, or you can buy and purchase it off the auction house. Prices will vary, but I'm pretty sure it is dirt cheap. So, yep, so the moveset you're definitely going to want to run with is Obsidian Bite, Retrieve, which is a great swap out, especially if you're faster. Then, of course, Magma Trap. Some people do like Puppies of the Flame. Nothing particularly wrong with that, but Magma Trap is just too good to pass up, and that's the main thing that actually makes Blazehound tier 1. So yeah, Blazehound overall, a really solid pet, as well as having the amazing elemental racial. So yeah, elemental racial is just so freaking good in this meta, like you would not even know. Not missing other weather abilities or basically negating most weather abilities. I think the main weathers that affect elementals are Sandstorm, the reducing damage part of it, and I think Call Lightning, because they still do get hit by that negative effect, but it's weak damage. So yeah, elemental racial really damn good. Next up, we do have the Stunted Direhorn. Now I'm sure that most would probably consider all Direhorns, or most of them, to be tier 1, and that I can agree with. Stunted Direhorn is just the hardest hitting Direhorn in the game currently, with its power type here. How you get the Stunted Direhorn is an achievement, and I believe you have to get 250 wins in PvP pet battles with a full team of level 25s, of course. So something not too difficult to achieve if you haven't already, but it could take someone quite a while if they're just starting out. But damn, is this pet worth it, especially in this meta. Holy crap, has this pet been performing so well. Now, the obvious moveset you're going to go with is this right here. Some people will run Trample and Trihorn Shield. I don't really recommend it, but it is a thing. But that Trihorn Charge, Horn Attack, Primal Cry, triple combo right there is just too good to pass up. Primal Cry hitting really hard, especially if you're Beast Racial. That is quite a bit of AoE damage. Plus the speed slow there is just icing on the cupcake. And then along with Horn Attack, being able to potentially get that interrupt there, as well as dealing quite a bit of damage. So this pet, it goes without saying, packs quite the punch. So whenever you're able to get 250 PvP pet battle wins, you will get your Stunted Direhorn. So I definitely say go for that grind there. Try not to be an ass about it, you know, playing, say, triple anomalous teams, trying to get it. But eventually you will get it if you don't have it already. So yeah, there's a Stunted Direhorn. Or if you're not looking to get that, you can always pick up a different Direhorn. So yeah, Direhorns in general, Stunted Direhorn in particular, really solid pets. Next up, we actually have the Maw Crawler. Now I was really thinking about whether this thing deserves to be on the list or not. But that SS breed, with it having decent attack power, yes, it has low health, and it's also an undead. I feel like just sort of cancel each other out and kind of make up for this pet being pretty damn solid, I'd have to say. So probably a lesser tier 1 pet. I've been having quite a bit of success with it recently, if you've seen my spotlight video on it. But you do get the Maw Crawler from Torghast. Not too sure if it's a drop from a mob or from the treasure or something like that. But it can be bought off the auction house. I paid only like 1,000 gold, so pretty cheap there. Breed you're definitely going to want is the SS, although the power speed doesn't look half bad either. Moveset you're definitely going to want to rock is Deep Claw for your basic attack. Tornado Punch is freaking amazing, as in my spotlight video I got non-stop stuns with it, so if you're lucky like that, the same can happen to you. And then I prefer Depth Grip over Curse of Doom, although Curse of Doom isn't a bad option either. It's just that on a fast pet with a swap out that does damage in the form of Depth Grip on a pretty short cooldown of 4 rounds is really damn good to pass up there. So yeah, Maw Crawler, probably one of those lesser tier 1 pets, but you know, in a meta where it's all about a bunch of weather and AoE and crap, speed is definitely really important. And I'll tell you time and time again, speed is definitely the most important deciding factor as far as stats go in a PvP pet battle. So yeah, Maw Crawler, pretty decent pet overall, and definitely recommend picking it up if you haven't already. Next up, we have Trunks here. Now, I'm not going to go too fully into the explanation how to get it. The achievement is an awfully big adventure, basically where you fight a whole bunch of different pet tamers, including the Celestial Tournament. So I'll just have y'all look up a guide on the different tamers or how to beat them or whatever, as that's quite a bit. So obviously I can't memorize all that good stuff. So pretty straightforward to get. The name of the achievement is quite true. It is quite the adventure and quite long too, especially if you're unlucky with the Celestial Tournament, with them using the same tamers back to back to back. So yeah, Trunks was pretty good back in BFA, but they made him even better. For whatever reason, they decided to buff the damage of Avalanche, so it does an absurd amount of damage here. Especially under Call Blizzard with the extra damage buff there. Avalanche is going to be hitting over, well, either exactly or just over 300 damage per pet if they're not a critter or a mechanical, because obviously this does more damage to mechanicals and weak damage to critters. So everything else is going to get popped for over 300 under Blizzard, that is. And it's split, so 2 pets, it's going to be more. And then, you know, 1 pet is going to get absolutely demolished. So, for whatever reason, they decided to buff this ability here, which is absolutely hilarious. So, the moveset I usually prefer to run with is Smash for your basic attack. Moonfire, as they did buff the damage of most weather abilities. So, at least you got a way to change the weather on somebody, or to do quite a bit of magic damage here. And then obviously, no-brainer with Avalanche here. Headbutt, yeah, it's good, but Avalanche is just too good to pass up there. So yeah, Trunks, really damn good pet. Surprised I don't see more of it more often. I do see my fair share of Trunks, but again, it can be quite difficult to get, especially if you are a newer pet battler. So yeah, there we are with Trunks. Next up we have Twilight. Now, simply to get Twilight, it is a shop pet. And I know some people may be biased towards shop pets, but Twilight is quite easily, pretty damn sure of it too, the best shop pet currently that you can actually acquire. If you would prefer to wait until, say, December, where they will cut the prices in half, so instead of $10, it's $5. You know, that's completely fine. No one's putting a gun up to your head and forcing you to buy this pet. But if you do decide to get this pet, damn, is it really good. The whole buff to weather abilities makes it hit even harder. And then Surge of Light here, a stun that is not reliant on it being darkness to have... what am I trying to say here? Basically, it doesn't work exactly like Nocturnal Strike. As long as the weather is darkness, it will always have a 100% chance to stun as long as it lands. So in other words, elementals, you can definitely get popped by this. It is not like Nocturnal Strike, so really damn good ability. That is if you hit though. 90% chance seems like a lot, but in reality, you can miss a whole bunch in a row if you're unlucky. And then obviously Twilight Fire. I have seen some people run Pounce, and it does work out sometimes, but he's not the fastest pet in the world. So Twilight Fire, definitely the way to go, especially once you pop your beast ratio. You are just going to be doing an absurd amount of damage with all three of these. It is absolutely ridiculous. Twilight was always a good pet, and they simply made it better with the whole buff to weather abilities. So yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and drop a little bit of the donation to Blizzard and pick them up for yourself. So, yep, there we are. Next up, we have the Twilight Clucth-Sister. Now, yes, the Clutch-Sister did get nerfed. I think in pre-patch or something like that, where they decreased the damage of Twilight Meteorite. But it was barely anything. They barely scratched it. It is still a very, very good pet in the meta currently. Yes, it used to do like over 700 split evenly, but it basically does 700 still. Just 5 damage off there. Twilight Clutch-Sister is a drop from Valona, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and the Bastion of Twilight, so a raid there. Does have 3 breeds available to it. The power speed is definitely the best. Moveset you're definitely going to want to run with is Twilight Fire, Phase Shift, and obviously Twilight Meteorite. Although I do see quite a bit of unintelligent people running the wrong breed and Tail Sweep, which is absolutely hilarious because this isn't exactly a slow pet, and Tail Sweep's only really good if you're slower than the user. So something like Twilight Fire is by far the better option. So it's just absolutely baffling whenever I see people not only running the wrong breed, but also the wrong ability on a really good pet. So, yeah, Twilight Clutch-Sister, still very much a damn good pet in the Shadowlands meta. Moving on here, we have its cousin being the Twilight Whelpling, which is wild caught. It is wild caught in the Twilight Highlands. I forget... what is it? I think it's Grimbatal, if I remember right, which I'm kind of surprised I kind of remember where it's from. I believe it's pronounced Grimbatal or something like that in the Twilight Highlands. Quite a bit of them, just, you know, scurrying around, doing their thing. 3 breeds available to it. There's not really a wrong breed, as they're all relatively slow and hit for the same amount of damage. Yeah, really any breed you want is fine, but I kind of prefer the health power. That way I have just a little bit extra health. But like I said, any breed, you know, you could pick up basically anything and it's still just as viable. Again, like the Clutch-Sister, Twilight Meteorite just hits stupid crazy hard. Look at that, over 700 damage still, even with the nerf on the Twilight Whelpling. Come on, Blizzard, you can't be that deluded to not nerf it that much more. It's still a very solid pet. I see it go against me quite a bit, and it whoops my tail like you would not even know. So, Yeah. Moveset you're definitely going to want to run with, obviously. It's going to be Twilight Fire. I prefer Dark Flame, but you could run Wild Magic. Then obviously Twilight Meteorite. You were just way too slow. Take advantage of Wing Buffet. And Twilight Meteorite is just that good. So yeah, Wildcat Pet, pretty easy to get. Twilight Whelpling, still very viable in this meta. Now, Shadowback Crawler here. Was a pretty good pet back in BFA when it was first introduced. You know, it's got Stun, it's got Call Darkness, and then pretty good solid options for basic attack. And then they basically just make it better by buffing the damage of weather abilities, aka Call Darkness. So really, really solid tier 1 pet in this meta. Now, the biggest problem with this pet is going to be the breed, no doubt. The only viable breed is the SS breed. Without that, you're not going to have a very good time. The SS breed is the best one for taking advantage of Crystal Prison. And like I said, speed is the most important factor. So, yeah, without the SS breed, you might as well not even use this thing. And it took me quite a while to finally find the SS breed. It is wild caught in Stormsong Valley. Moveset you're definitely going to want to run with is Call Darkness, obviously. Crystal Prison, and you really could take either of these. It's really up to you. Shadow Slash just gives you a bit of an edge over humanoids, which you do see quite a bit. And then Water Jet isn't a half bad option either, so really you could take whatever you want. I would stay far away from both of these abilities here, so yeah, Shadowback Crawler, they just simply made it better, so really good tier 1 pet right here. Now, Nightshade Sproutling has got to be one of the better pets in the meta currently. Not only is it that fantastic elemental racial, but just like the Shadowback Crawler, you need the SS breed. All the other breeds are pretty trash as far as what you're trying to achieve with this pet. And it can take you a while to find the correct breed, because the method of getting it is an herbalism sort of gathered thing back in Draenor. So basically how it works is if you go up to an herb in Draenor, you pick the herb, you have a chance to spawn a mob that looks kind of like the Nightshade Sproutling. So you got a chance there. You kill the mob, and again, you have a very low chance to drop the Nightshade Sproutling. On top of that, you have a very even slimmer chance of getting the right breed. So you can see that this is basically a chance pet as far as getting it. So your best option is to buy it off the auction house, which is what I did. You're almost guaranteed to almost not get it if you're solely going after the SS breed, trying to do the whole herbalism method, because you're basically taking 3 different chances, as I've stated. So pretty difficult to get, but if you can get it, holy, is this pet just so good. I mean, it was really good back in BFA, and even in Warlords. Oh, and can't forget Legion. But damn, did they make it even better with Call Darkness. Not to mention, blinds are quite strong in this meta. Like, holy, are blinds very good in this meta nowadays. But yeah, SS breed, moveset you're definitely going to want to run with is the Lash, Call Darkness, Blinding Poison, 9 times out of 10, but it is a pretty versatile pet, and you can pretty much run whatever you want. I even had a video where I was running what I considered the wrong abilities, where I took Poison Lash, Nature's Ward, and Fist of the Forest, and the Nightshade was still the MVP of my team, so that should just go to show how good this damn thing truly is. So yeah, if you can get your hands on an SS breed, all the power to you. Absolutely love this pet, one of the best in the game, and it's got one of the best racials, being the elemental. So yeah, Nightshade Sproutling. Next up, we do have the Hermit Crab. Obviously, not as good as it used to be back in BFA. I kind of miss the way it used to be, even though most really don't. It used to have overinflated stats, but then they balanced it out. It's still pretty quick, it's still faster than the Fiendish Imp, so still pretty viable, and it goes against me quite a bit and kicks my tail like you would not even know. So, with that being said, it's still pretty good as far as being a tier 1 pet. Very easy to get to. It is a wild-caught pet in full dune, just all over the shore, so not hard at all to get. Only one breed available to it, so if you totally wanted to farm out a rare, you could. That way you save yourself a stone. Now, the abilities on it that I would run, I don't know. I still kind of prefer Fish Slap, even though they kind of nerfed it to do a set amount of damage instead of a low-high, as Fish Slap kind of hit ridiculously hard for a basic attack. So I kind of prefer that. Shell Armor or Bubble, really either or you could roll with. I prefer Shell Armor. And then obviously Dive. I don't recommend Whirlpool. It's just another way to get either of these back off cooldown sooner and do quite a bit of damage too and avoid attacks. So yeah, Hermit Crab still a pretty viable pet in this meta. Obviously not as good as it once was, but still really damn good. So yeah, definitely pick you up one if you haven't already. Ooh, that's some good stuff right there. Quite refreshing. So next up we do have the Sneaky Marmot. Now, kind of along with the same thing as Nightshade Sproutling, blinds are really damn good in this meta, especially considering that you can mix a blind with a stun and not have to worry about the whole resilience going on there. So really good pet right here. It is from pickpocketing as a rogue back in Legion. I think it's a currency thing. It's either something that you have to get a certain currency for to buy, or you just have a chance to loot it off of the NPCs. I don't remember if it's one or two, so yeah, there's that. Or the better alternative is just to buy it off the auction house. The correct breed is the SS breed, of course. The other two breeds, down the drain. So SS breed, if you don't run that breed, what are you thinking? So I mean, it's only got 3 breeds available to it, so it's not hard to find the correct one off the auction house. Move set that you're definitely going to want to go with is Blinding Powder over Prowl 11 times out of 10. Why would you take that? What is wrong with you? Smoke Bomb's pretty good, but Burrow's even better. And then it's up to you what you want to take as your basic attack, whether you want to take Jab or Chomp. I kind of prefer Jab, that way I have something for Twilight Clucth-Sisters or any other pesky dragon can give me trouble. So yeah, Sneaky Marmot, pretty great pet overall, so definitely recommend picking this pet up if you haven't already. Next up, we have the Infernal Pyreclaw, which has been doing very well in this meta, especially with its bestest buddy being Anomalous. Damn, is this pet so good and so easy to get. Now, well, first of all, I have no idea why I have the health balance breed in this spot. I meant to put the power balance one. Again, it is from Firelands, just like the Blazehound. I don't know why the name was escaping me there. So pretty easy to get. It is a drop from Major Domo. It's got 3 breeds available to it. Now, kind of like the the Twilight Whelpling. I was trying to think of a pet. Kind of like the Twilight Whelpling. Any breed is okay. However, I do prefer the power balance as it is the hardest hitting. Now, the main thing with the Pyreclaw here, especially paired with Anomalous, is under Toxic Fumes, Great Sting will obviously last 3 turns, except against elementals. And it can stack with Anomalous's Poison Protocol, which is one of the most busted things I think I've ever seen with a duo such as those two. So, pretty insane pet, especially paired with Anomalous, and it does do very damn well even on its own. So, just overall, really solid pet here. Now, moveset you're definitely going to want to roll with is obviously Great Sting. Cleave, I've seen some people run Scorched Earth, don't recommend it. And then, more times out of, 10, Adrenaline Rush is the best way to go. However, I've seen some people run Flame Breath. But with Adrenaline Rush, you're guaranteed to get off to some attacks before dying. So, Very, very good pet right here. Definitely recommend getting it if you haven't already. Now, next up, we have Jingles. Now, Jingles was released this past Christmas. You can only get it during Christmas time. Well, not actually Christmas Day, but during the Winter Veil is what I mean. And it's very, very easy to get. All you do, go to a city capital, whatever. It could be Ironforge, it could be Orgrimmar, something like that. And all you got to do is go over to the whole Christmas tree where there's a bunch of presents. You really only need one character for this. Loot all of them until you find the one that drops Jingles, and then boom, you got Jingles, one of the best pets in the meta currently. Only unfortunate thing is that you have to wait until Feast of the Winter's Veil until you can get your hands on one. Which I have heard quite a people being quite sad that they don't have this pet, as it is so damn good. Now, only one breed available to it, thank goodness, is the SS breed with a ridiculously high speed right there. Main thing that makes it so damn good is its Booby Trap presence in Gift of Winter's Veil here. These two abilities are pretty great too, but this right here is so good, especially with the Beast ratio buffing up the damage slightly. Now, I recommend Pounce more times than not over Huge Fang, but Huge Fang is pretty decent too. However, it is pretty darn great as well on an anomalous team or a user that uses toxic fumes, because I believe it's bugged to where the first hit will hit super hard, ridiculously hard. So other than that, Pounce is definitely the way to go there. So yeah, Jingles, if you have this pet already and haven't leveled it up, there's something wrong with you. But for all of you unfortunate souls who didn't pick up this pet, all you have to do is wait until when the Christmas time rolls back around, and then you can easily get this pet. So Jingles, one of the best pets right now. Get it whenever Christmas rolls around. Next up, we do have the Roast Taipan. You could put the Death Adder Hatchling in the spot too, as they're essentially the same thing. I just kind of prefer the Roast Taipan as it is easier to get. It is wild caught in Stormheim. Now, main thing that might take a while is finding the correct breed, which is the SS breed, of course. That way you could take advantage of Blinding Poison or Paralyzing Venom if you decide to go that route too. However, I do recommend Blinding Poison, as it is mildly better, I'd have to say. Puncture Wound, Poison Fang as well. However, I have seen some run Vicious Fang and Crouch, and that's perfectly fine. This pet is pretty versatile, so run whatever you like, but this is going to be the main sort of move build right here with these three. So yeah, pretty easy pet to get. It's just all about finding the correct breed, like I said. So Roast Taipan and Death Adder Hatchling. Next up, we have Rotbreath here. Now, surprisingly, Rotbreath has doing quite well here in this meta, let me tell you. So, once upon a time, I actually went against a team full of 3 Anomalises. Imagine that. And I completely sold all 3 of them with my Rotbreath, all thanks to Spike Skin here. Oh, it tore them apart, and I was laughing so hard. I had a great time. He did not have a great time. But yeah, Rotbreath. Now, main thing with Rotbreath is he is very, very difficult to get. He is a very low drop chance from Lord, not even going to try to pronounce that name. Basically one of the rares in Oldham during that particular invasion. It's a big old like Kunchang bug type thing. So you kill him, you have a chance to get Rotbreath, or you can get him off the auction house, but he is one of the more expensive beast type pets in the game currently. You'll mostly see him go for well over 100k at times, so quite the expensive pet, but damn is he really solid with his power breed here. He's got 2 different builds that you could basically run it with. The one right here, which isn't as good in my opinion, is his Toxic Fumes build where he's got Contagion Strike and Poison Spit, or the much better alternative being his Dreadful Breath build right here with Spike Skin. And like I said, Spike Skin absolutely tears apart magic types, aka Anomalous. And with your beast racial active, you're going to be dealing even more reflect damage with Spike Skin. So pretty great pet in that regard. So overall, a really solid pet. He's just very, very hard to get your hands on, but if you can, he's definitely worth his weight in gold. So yeah, Rotbreath. Alright, next up we have the Autumnal Sproutling. Now, it's still a really, really solid pet. It's just that he's been getting quite overshadowed by other great elemental pets, such as the Nightshade Sproutling, but he's still got that elemental racial, and he still hits like a truck. So yeah, the Autumnal Sproutling, again, like the Nightshade, you're going to want one... Well, there's a couple breeds where he can actually work, but his best breed, without a doubt, is the Power. The SS breed, I guess, could work too. It's just that he hits like an absolute truck with the Power breed as it is, so I just recommend going with that. But if you want the SS breed, you know, more power to you. He is bought with 100 of those old pet charms, being these right here, the shiny pet charms, and you basically get those from, for example, the Warlord pet tamers. Defeating them, you can get some. So not the hardest pet to get. Again, like it, you know, with the Nightshade Sproutling, it's all about getting the correct breed. So I recommend just getting the right one off the auction house. He doesn't cost too much. Build you're definitely going to want to go with its Club, Nature's Ward, and Fist of Forest. The other ones I don't recommend on the Power breed, unless if you like the SS breed. Then these other moves are more viable there. So yeah, Autumnal Sproutling, still pretty solid pet. He's just getting overshadowed just a little bit, but again, he's still really solid. So pick him up if you're interested. Living Sandling here, one of the better pets in the meta. It's got that sweet, sweet elemental racial, so you don't have to worry about missing under your own sandstorm. His health power breed, which is by far the best breed for sure. However, you could technically run any breed you want and perform quite well. The health power is just personally the best breed there is. Moveset you're definitely going to want to run with is Sandstorm and Quicksand for sure. And then it's kind of situational with these two. I prefer Sandbolt more times than not, but Punch is pretty viable too. He is very dirt cheap on the auction house, and you can almost guarantee a drop inside of Throne of Thunder. It's just all about killing the living Sandling mobs, and he does have a pretty decent drop chance. So yeah, very easy pet to get for how damn almost potentially considered OP he is. So Living Sandling, very, very good pet, especially with the whole weather damage buff to Sandstorm. Just hits absolutely hard. Now, next up we have Aqir Tunneler. Now, similar to Rotbreath, he can be kind of difficult to get your hands on. Not as expensive as Rotbreath though, so if you do decide to come out to the auction house, he shouldn't be as expensive, maybe 50k or so. Only one breed available to him here, being the Hell Power. Really should be considered a Power type, but that's just me. He's got the critter ratio, which is pretty great versus pets that you see quite a bit, such as the Living Sandling. I don't know why. Oh, I have this build because of that one video that I did. But so the main thing that makes the Aqir Tunneler as good as I believe he is, and most others would agree, is he hits super hard with the Sandstorm, doing over 800. And with Sandstorm up, you're actually able to double dip on your defensive, not only with the whole Sandstorm damage reduction, but with your Shell Shield. So it's almost like having a mini shell armor on you, basically at all times, as long as these two are up. Making this pet pretty on the survivable side, as well as dishing out quite a bit of damage with his basic attack being Claw. So yeah, definitely go with these three abilities right here. I don't know why you'd run any of these. Definitely not these two, because he's very slow. Stormflies, I love this ability, but you know, under Sandstorm, it's not going to do very much. So yeah, Aqir Tunneler, surprisingly a very, very good pet. So definitely get this guy if you're able to. Next up we have Rattlejaw. Now, Rattlejaw has been surprising the hell out of me lately. Not only in the US meta, but also in the EU. I see this pet go against Roscoe quite a bit, especially paired with Anomalous and Infernal Pyreclaw. I've seen my fair share of him too, and I do use him quite a bit as well. And he just performs so well, like you would not even know. He's got pretty great stats overall, you know, Undead Racial, pretty easy to get from Nefarian for the Blackwing Descent, and pretty cheap on the auction house too. Moves that you're definitely going to want to go with is Skull Toss, Bone Barrage, and Consume Corpse. Case could be made for Great Cleave as it's a short 2-round cooldown AoE. But Bone Barrage just has so much more utility to it, so I kind of recommend just going with that. But yeah, overall, just a really, really solid pet that don't see a whole lot, but you can see your fair share of, so yeah, Rattlejaw, pick him up if you haven't already. Now, next up is the Spinebug, one of the newer pets to come with the expansion. I absolutely love this thing. This thing has surprised the absolute hell out of me. And as you can see, I have quite a bit of teams with him too. So, whole thing with Spinebug, first of all, Undead Racial. Second of all, I think it's pretty easy to get from the whole treasures in Maldraxxus. Not too sure what the drop chance is there. Its SS breed is faster than the Fiendish Imp, which is the main pet I'd say you'd want to worry about anyway. You got Bone Bite here, which I highly recommend. Its Tail Slap hits very, very low. So Bone Bite definitely for your basic attack. Dazzling Dance for sure. And then he's got Return to Rest, which basically works like a Feigned Death. Except of an 8-round cooldown, you have a 7-round cooldown. And it brings in the lowest health pet. So many potential options with this pet. Like, you would not even know. You can pair him with Anomalous. That way you can switch into Anomalous, because Anomalous has crap health. Let's see. You could switch him into Lost Quill. Let's see. Moontouch Netherwhelp has pretty low health too. You know, there's just so many different pet combinations that you can do with this pet, that this pet is just so freaking good. So, Squeeze isn't half bad either. I actually tried it out on one team. But Return to Rest is just too good. Too good to pass up. You can buy this off the auction house. Prices will vary, so keep that in mind. But Spinebug, really solid pet. Definitely get it if you're interested. Now, next up we have the Fel-Afflicted Skyfin. Oh boy, this bird is still pretty darn viable, I'd say. He does get kind of smacked down by mostly Sandstorm users, as they do negate quite a bit of his damage, and since Sandstorm hits hella hard, you can almost certainly lose your racial faster. So, and that's the main bread and butter for this pet, is its racial. Main thing that actually makes it tier 1. Very dirt cheap on the auction house, and you can get it from the Fel Spotted Eggs and Legion. So very, very easy to get. Moveset you're definitely going to want to go with is Fel Immolate, Wing Buffet, and then the middle slot, it's really up to you. I kind of prefer Glowing Toxin nowadays, but Wild Magic is pretty good too. It's just that most pets could swap out once they get either of these on them, so that's why I kind of prefer Glowing Toxin, but like I said, you can pretty much run either or. So yeah, Fel-Afflicted Skyfin still a pretty decent pet. Alright, next up we have the Bronze Whelpling. Now, similar to the I don't know why the name's escaping me, the Shadowback Crawler, you're definitely going to want the SS breed to take advantage of Crystal Prison. You'll be doing extra damage because you should be going first 9 times out of 10 with Arcane Slash, and then you're definitely going to want Liftoff. Very rarely will you see a Bronze Whelpling running any of these 3 abilities. This is its main bread and butter right here. Breed you're obviously going to want, like I said, is the SS breed, and it is from, it is a pretty low drop chance from the Iron Horde and the Blasted Lands. Now, basically how it works is there are certain orcs that are labeled that have the chance to drop the Bronze Whelpling, and it basically... if I remember correctly, It basically drops where it looks like a box, and then you open it, and then you basically have a chance of one of the 4 breeds being, you know, power, SS, health power, and then HS. And like I said, the SS is definitely the one that you're going to want to roll with. Overall, still a pretty solid pet. Main issues it may run into are obviously mechanicals, and then Call Darkness, because most Call Darkness users will hit for over 1,000 damage because of how ridiculous the whole damage buffed up Call Darkness. So you're going to want to be very careful and wary of Call Darkness users. But other than that, still a pretty solid pet here. So Bronze Whelpling, definitely recommend getting it if you haven't already. Can be bought off the auction house. Again, SS breed is the one you're going to want to go with. Now, next up, one of my more favorite pets currently. I think it might even be my favorite Dragonkin, as I have a whole bunch of teams with it. Being the Moontouch Netherwhelp. Now, it's kind of one of the newer pets on the block. I made a spotlight video on it not too long ago, so still pretty relatively new. I don't know if you could still acquire this pet, though. It is from the whole little BlizzCon thing that went on recently. Now, if you want to just get this pet, all you have to do is pay 20 bucks. You know, some people may not want to spend money, but most people will spend it on damn BlizzCon because they get that dumb bear mount. They get the whole 30 days of game time or whatever, and then a bunch of other WoW-related game rewards. But the best reward, obviously, is Moontouch Netherwhelp. One of the best pets right now. God, this pet is so freaking amazing. Its breed, pretty solid breed right here. I don't know, it's not really telling what the breed is currently because it's still new. But, so, the build you're definitely going to want to run with, well, the build I prefer is Needleclaw, Void Slap, and Ashes of Outland. Ashes of Outland is unique only to the Moontouch. It is currently the only 100% blinding ability in the game that does damage up front as well, which I guess is why it's on the 5-round cooldown, as it does quite a bit of damage. Plus that blind is too freaking good. Not only that, but since it's not considered a stun, it doesn't put the pets on resilience, meaning that if you bring in a pet that has a stun, you could go straight for a stun, or if you have a pet that's already recently stunned that pet, and they're on resilience, you can still go for Ashes of Outland, and blinds are not affected by resilience. So that's one of the main reasons why blinds and stuns mixed together is such a great combo in this meta. Just really, really solid. Plus, with your Dragonkin racial, Ashes of Outland is going to be hitting for well over 600 damage, so really, really good there. Now, you can run Nettle Blast if you like. Needleclaw, I just really like. It does some damage up front and leaves a dot on them. If they swap out, they got a dot. If you get your Dragonkin racial, and let's say that you got multiple Needleclaws on multiple pets, you're going to be doing quite a bit of dot damage there. Phase Shift you can run, as he's not the slowest pet in the world, but with a Dazzling Dance user, he all of a sudden becomes a very quick, high damage output monster. So Dazzling Dance, Phase Shift, not half bad, but I do prefer Void Slap, as it is quite a bit of AoE there. And again, Dazzling Dance user, you could take advantage of Nethergate. However, Ashes of Outland is just too good to pass up. Like, why? I think I tried it on one team with Nethergate, but I was really kicking myself because I was missing Ashes of Outland so much. I absolutely love this pet, so definitely recommend getting this pet if you're still able to and haven't already. I see quite a bit of it in the meta, so not too surprised. Really good pet right here. So again, highly recommend if you haven't already. Now, next up is actually Baby Winston, surprisingly enough. And the main reason is actually because of Barrier Projector. Now, to acquire this pet, it is from Overwatch. I believe there might be some sort of code, or maybe you have to buy some sort of collector edition or whatever. But I was gifted mine by a very awesome and amazing viewer of mine. So, you know, pat on the back to him. I still remember that to this day. So, thank you so much, because Baby Winston is a really fantastic pet. Has quite a bit of health. Hits pretty decently hard, especially with Tesla Cannon. Look at that high-end roll right there. Now, build that you're definitely going to want to roll with is Tesla Cannon, Logic, as it's just a straight up, you know, 396 on a 1-round cooldown, so hits pretty hard there. And Barrier Projector. Now, the thing I did not know about Barrier Projector until a viewer of mine told me is that it is a team-wide shield. It is not just for Baby Winston. So, you know, you throw this up, Anomalous is AoE, Infernal Pyreclaw AoE, down the drain. All that absolutely down the drain. There is no way that they're going to do more than, you know, almost 240 damage. So it's really great. Barrier Protector is really fantastic on a short 4-round cooldown, I might add. Now, there is one other pet in the game that does have Barrier Protector, but Baby Winston is by far way better, so don't even really waste your time with that other pet. Plus, I think that other pet is very rare and quite expensive on the auction house, so I'm not even going to mention that pet as it's kind of poop. So, Baby Winston, if you have it, great. If you don't, I don't know if you could still get this pet. So, yeah, Baby Winston, really, really great pet. Alright, next up we have the infamous and annoying Anubisath Idol. It was always good, and Blizzard just made it better by slapping even more damage on the Sandstorm. As you can see, you know, this pet is even a sign of the devil. 666 right there, ladies and gentlemen. So what can you say more about the idol here? That's so funny and coincidental that it's 666 damage. Very easy to pet to get, whether you decide to get it off the auction house or actually go into Aqir 40 and get it off of Emperor Velclor. Like I say, can't be bought off the auction house. Ability that you're definitely going to want to go with is Crush, Sandstorm, and Deflection. Sometimes you'll see some idols run Rupture, and that's completely fine, but Deflection is just way better. And just Sandstorm is a no-brainer. Obviously, that whole damage thing just made this pet so much better, so I see a whole bunch of this damn thing, as I'm sure most other people do as well. So, yeah, Anubisath Idol, absolute no-brainer for why it's on the list here. Oh boy. Next up, we do have the Fiendish Imp. Now, I will say that the Fiendish Imp isn't as good as it once was with the whole Sandstorm. So, Sandstorm kind of negates it a little bit, not only dealing quite a bit of damage, but also, you know, negating Immolation, as well as Call Darkness, kind of doing, you know, a bunch of damage, and then reducing its heal with its humanoid passive. But it's still a very solid pet. Obviously, you can get off the auction house. SS breed is one that you want, obviously. And it is from Terestian Ilhoof, I believe I pronounced that, in Karazhan. So, gonna want to roll with Burn, Immolation, Nethergate. Obviously, you will rarely, and I mean rarely, ever seen the Fiendish Imp run those abilities. So yeah, Fiendish Imp, not too much to say here, as it's still a very good pet over even during all these expansions. So yeah, next up we have the Aqir. Again, one of the better pets in the meta currently. SS breed, of course. Now, the thing with the Guardling here is that you do have to wait until summertime before they are out and about. But they are right outside in Silithus of, was it Aqir 40, Aqir 20, something like that. But they're just, you know, a whole bunch of them running around. It's just all about it being summertime and finding the correct breed, which is the SS breed, of course. So, without that, just not as good. So definitely the SS breed is the one that you're going to want to roll with. Abilities you definitely want to go with is Crush, Sandstorm obviously, and Blackout Kick. So makes it quite the formidable foe here. You know, hitting hard with Sandstorm, like I said, the whole damage buff just made this thing so much better. Blackout Kick, because you should be going first 9 times out of 10. Ooh, that's some good stuff. And then your basic attack being Crush. This thing absolutely destroys Dragonkins. You know, but whether it be the Clucth-Sister, Moontouch Netherwhelp, all that good stuff, absolutely shreds them. It even takes care of Anomalous quite well too, so that should tell you something there. So Aqir Tunneler, definitely pick it up if you haven't already once summertime rolls back around, which is actually pretty soon. Alright, next up we have the Mechanical Pandaren Dragling. Now this pet kind of came back from the dead here. You know, it's always been good ever since, you know, it first came out in Mist. It was kind of nah in both Legion and BFA. But, you know, Shadowlands comes along, and this thing is just out and about, I tell you. They buffed this thing not only by giving Thunderbolt more damage, because back in Legion and BFA, Thunderbolt was on a 5-round cooldown, and on the MPD did less than 500 damage split evenly. And for whatever reason, they decided to not only put it on a 4-round cooldown, but buff the damage of Thunderbolt. So not only the MPD, but a bunch of other pets got buffed too. So yeah, Thunderbolt is out and about now. It is still a damn good AoE. Obviously Breath there and Decoy. This pet absolutely shreds Anomalous and a whole bunch of other magic types, as I believe it's the only mechanical pet that both takes weak damage from magic types and does strong damage back. So really damn good there. It is from Engineering, from Mist, if you are maybe interested in making them and selling them, as people buy this pet all the time. So you can get quite a bit of gold from making these things. So, and if you're interested, you could just simply buy this off the auction house. It doesn't cost all too much, and it's just a damn good pet. Absolutely shreds Anomalous, like I said. Breath, Thunderbolt, Decoy. Very rarely will you see these other three. So Mechanical Pandaren Dragling, welcome back with all those buffs. Now, next up, we have the Lost Quill. Now, this pet I have been playing so much of recently. It is too damn good. This thing seriously surprises the hell out of me. I remember trying it out for the first time. This pet is truly something else. One of the best pets, like maybe even top 3, top 5, something like that, of best pets right now. First of all, magic racial, really low health, so you're actually able to take advantage of your magic racial. It says it's a drop from the Lost Quill and Rivendreth. Not too sure what a drop chance is there. Its SS breed is absolutely ridiculous at 366, so obviously you're going to outspeed Fiendish Imps. All that good stuff. Build you're definitely going to want to roll with is Arcane Slash, as you should be going first. Deep Research and Stay a While and Listen. Stay a While and Listen is one of those 2-round sleeps, which is absolutely ridiculous. You could throw this up. You could set up your Deep Research. That way you have that ready. It's basically like a mini decoy. But you do take 1 turn of basically doing nothing. You could swap out into, say, maybe a Minefield user, set up there. There's just so much potential with this pet and its moveset here. I do like Plot Twist, as it is a decoy breaker and whatnot. Arcane Slash is too damn good to pass up on such a fast pet. Not only that, but like I mentioned earlier with the Spinebug, if you decide to do Dazzling Dance and swap into this pet, this thing will have, I believe it's like 450 something like that. Its speed is absolutely ridiculous with Dazzling Dance. You are going to be outspeeding flyers that could be at full health with their racial, simply with this pet, if their speed's low enough, that is. If they're an SS breed, I don't think you're going to be outspeeding them, but most flyers, you are going to have quite a time against, as long as you have Dazzling Dance up and stuff. So, quite a monster here. I absolutely love this pet, but this thing is just so damn good. You can buy it off the auction house. I don't know what the prices are for it generally. Prices will vary, but I don't think it was really that much. So definitely pick this pet up if you haven't already. One of the best pets. Now we move on. Definitely one of the top 3, and some people would consider the best pet in the game right now being Anomalous. Again, just like Lost Quill, Magic Racial, take advantage of that very low health pool. Dirt cheap on the auction house, or you can get it from Visions. I actually have 2 because I got 1 from a Vision, so that should tell you how easy it's, to acquire. 1 breed available to it, hits hella hard, and has pretty fast speed for 297, so not only that, but it's pretty versatile. The only ability I wouldn't recommend really running on it is a Contagion Strike, as Poison Protocol is too damn good to pass up, especially paired with something like the Infernal Pyreclaw. Like I said, you could stack both of those poisons and do an absurd amount of dot AoE, so pretty absurd there. You could run either of these if you want. I prefer Corrosion. And then again, you can run either of these, but if you're, trying to do as much dot AoE as possible, Toxic Fume is the way to go. But I've seen quite a bit of Anomalouses running Void Nova and just absolutely shredding people's teams. This pet is so good, in fact, that you will sometimes run into 3 of them because people are that much of a coward and love running this OP pet with like 2 or 3 of them on the same team. So it's a no-brainer as to why this pet is so damn good. So Anomalous, if you for whatever reason don't have it, you're definitely doing something wrong. So yeah, Anomalous. So that is all of the top pets that I believe in the game. Now I do have some honorable mentions. Now these pets, some of them are tier 1, but just not as good as the ones I just mentioned previously. Or, some people could consider them tier 1, or some people could consider them tier 2. It's really kind of biased, so to say. So I'll go ahead and go right into them. So they basically didn't make the cut, but I thought I ought to mention them nonetheless. So Alteric Brewpup here. Once again, it is bought off the shop. Again, just like Trunks, it's the only other Avalanche user in the game. So its damage got buffed there too. Moveset I'd run, obviously, is Bite. Tough and cuddly most of the time, but on a Sunlight team with, say, the Golden Turper, I definitely would run the good stuff there. And then, obviously, Avalanche. Especially with your beast ratio, you are going to be popping off real hard with this pet right here. Next up, the Vengeful Porcupine. It's just getting absolutely overshadowed with all the sandstorm and stuff going on. That way, it's not able to do as much damage. I do kind of miss this pet. You rarely ever see it, but it's still considered tier 1. You do get it from Speaker Gulon from doing a bit of PvP on the Timeless Isle. So I believe it's like 500 bloody coins or something like that. But you can get it off the auction house as it's not too expensive. Abilities that you're definitely going to want to run with, obviously, is Powerball, Spirit Spikes, and Flank. So I won't go into too definition of that, as most people have seen what this pet's capable of, but I do kind of miss it, as it's not as good. Next up is Cursed Dune Watcher. Now, this pet is a drop from the whole bag in the Oldham Accord supplies from the Invasions. Not too sure what the drop chance is, but you can get it off the auction house. Prices will vary, like I said. Very low health pool, but a pretty trolly stats right here, hitting quite hard. And outspeeding by 1 point normal 325 speed SS breed. So that's absolutely hilarious right there. Now it does have 2 different basic attack options. It's really up to you. But just like the Aqir Tunneler, you're able to double dip and deal massive damage with Sandstorm because he's got Stone Skin here. So pretty great defensive sort of pet right there. So highly recommend getting this pet if you haven't already. Next up is the Frostwolf Ghost Pup. Now, don't get me wrong, this pet is still very much tier 1. Just not as good as it used to be. With the Sandstorm, like I mentioned. You do get it from Archaeology, or you can get it off the auction house. Moveset I definitely would run with is Scratch, Haunting Song, Ghostly Bite. So not a whole lot to say about the Ghost Pup. It's still pretty decent, I'd have to say. Crobat here is wild caught in Maldraxxus. Now there are multiple breeds. I do prefer the power speed though, as it hits pretty hard and has pretty fast speed too. Pretty low health though. Moveset for sure you're going to want to run is Furious Flapping. It's a ramp up ability. 1 round cooldown too. Sludge Belch, which is really a fantastic undead upfront damaging ability, as well as an undead dot too, so that's pretty great. And then obviously Toxic Fume, so overall pretty decent pet. Cortex Swarmling. Now, like I said, blinds and stuns are quite strong, especially with the Cortex Swarmling here, able to stun and take advantage of takedown, dealing double damage. And then you have a hard-hitting basic attack that's strong versus your weakness being mostly Dragonkin, so pretty great pet. You can get off the auction house or get it a drop from Imperial Vijar Zorlok. God, I butchered that name, I'm pretty sure. And it's from the raid Heart of Fear, so pretty great pet right there. Next up is the Enchanted Broom. Again, Sandstorm. Damage got buffed. SS breed. It is from Ice Crown, from the whole what is it called? The Grand Crusader, something that Trial the Crusader, I believe that's what it's called. So it could take you quite a while to get, and it is quite expensive on the auction house, as most people don't do that silly raid anymore, as they really don't like it. So I recommend just getting it off the auction house, but like I said, it can be pretty expensive. Moveset I would run would be Batter, usually Sweet, but Sandstorm is pretty viable too, and usually Wind Up, but again, Clean Up is pretty good too, so pretty versatile pet there. Stone Grinder here has been surprising me finally by the 3rd time, got the word right, quite a bit lately. Stone Grinder, you know, it's a drop in Talador, or you can get off the auction house. I think it's pretty cheap. You know, pretty great stats overall, and pretty versatile too. Again, Thunderbolt got buffed, so he does quite a bit of damage. Cleanup does quite a bit of damage too. And then I personally love Screeching Gears over Wood Chipper, so I kind of run these 3 right here. Overall, really decent pet that most people kind of forget about, but I absolutely love him. I don't think he quite made the list though, but honorable mention nonetheless. Next up we have the Bloodstone Tunneler. This is a pet that I used to play a whole lot of back in BFA. I still do play with it sometimes here and there in this expansion, but like, you know, some other pets, it's just not as good as it once was with all the weather and the AoE from Anomalous and stuff, so yeah, I would still consider it, you know, a lower tier 1 pet, but like I said, just not as good. Only one breed available to it, SS breed, and it is from Island Expeditions, or you can get off the auction house. Abilities that you're definitely going to want to run with is Acidic Goo, Swallow You Whole, and Paralyzing Venom. You are an SS breed, so you can take advantage of Paralyzing Venom most times and not, or Burrow too, but usually this will be the build that you'll go with. But yeah, Bloodstone Tunneler, kind of like the Vengeful Porky Pet. I do quite miss this pet quite a bit, and unfortunate that you don't see it a whole lot nowadays. Overall, still pretty decent. Now, next up we have the baby Zangalari Raptor, pretty easy to get, wild caught in Zoldazar. Breed that you're definitely going to want is SS, but I suppose you could run any breed you want and do quite well. Build you're definitely going to want to run is Primal Cry, Survival, and usually Rip, but you can run Claw too, depending on if you're like on a bleed team or not. But yeah, overall, a pet that you don't see a whole lot, but I absolutely love quite a bit, so definitely recommend picking up this pet if you haven't already. Now, next up we have Kovok. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, that's me! That's me, Kovok. Now, jokes aside, Kovok here, aka me, is a pretty decent pet even in this meta. You can get it off the auction house, although I'm not too sure what the prices are. Breed that I would recommend going with is the HS, but I do love the HH too, and health power could be useful too. So again, kind of one of those pets where you can basically run any breed. It is from Siege of Orgrimmar, so drop chance there. Build you're definitely going to want to run with is Poison Fang, usually pheromones, and then I like Puncture Wind on this pet, but most times you'll see people run Black Claw, so really great pet right here. I kind of miss it, and it's my icon, so yeah, absolutely love this pet right here. Next up, we have Kunchong Hatchling. Again, kind of like Kovok, you're going to want to run Poison Fang, Pheromones, and Puncture Wind. Quite a bit of power to him. He is from Island Expeditions, pretty dirt cheap on the auction house. And yeah, not a whole lot to say about this pet, honestly. Next up, we have the Glimmerpool Hatchling, which is Wild Cotton Bastion. I prefer the health power breed. I really do like this turtle because it has this unique ability being Steady Snap, where it hits an additional time if you're slower. Now, if it's low 227 speed, you'll be slower 9 times out of 10. So it's basically a flurry that kind of requires you to go second. So pretty great turtle here. Then there's Shell Armor and Headbutt. So yeah, this is a build I definitely run with. Again, not a whole lot to say about this turtle, but overall pretty decent. Now, next up we do have the Skittering Eel. It is a drop from Vorkov in Nazjatar. Not too sure what the drop chance is there. SS breed, definitely the one that you're going to want to go with. Build, you're going to want to go with Swallow You Whole, Dive, and Thunderbolt. Again, Thunderbolt got buffed. It's fast, so you can take advantage of Dive, and then Swallow You Whole over Jolt. So, yeah, again, not a whole lot to say about this pet, or most of these pets for that matter, but, you know, still pretty decent pet. You could maybe consider it lower tier 1. Next up is Armored Vaultbot. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Yeah, next up, Armored Vaultbot. It is from Mechagon. It's a bit of a drop chance there. Has super high health, which is the main thing that I would say that makes it kind of lower tier 1, plus its Money Meteor AoE ability here. Now, the Armored Vaultbot can be bought and sold off the auction house. Prices will vary. Build that you're definitely going to want to go with is Coin Toss or Metal Fist. Make It Rain for sure, and Money Meteor. So yeah, Armored Vaultbot. Didn't quite make it this list, but still pretty decent nonetheless. Now, Snowball Runt. Just like the Enchanter Broom, it is from the Trial of Crusader. Drop chance there, or you can get it off the auction house. Prices will vary, but the SS breed is definitely one you're going to want to go with. The build I like is Snowball, Kick, and Call of Winter. Kick that you're able to take advantage of your speed and whatnot. And then you got your basic attack here. I prefer Snowball, that way you can deal extra damage under Call of Winter. And it's pretty solid AoE here with Call of Winter, so overall pretty decent pet that not a whole lot of people play with nowadays. Next up we do have the Golden Chirper here. Now, same with the whole weather being buff, Sunlight's damage also got buffed, so you were able to do quite a bit of AoE damage here and a whole bunch of different healing potential with not only this pet, but stuff like the Alteric Brewpup, like I mentioned earlier. It is Wildcaught in Veil of Eternal Blossom, the Battle of Azeroth version, I might add. Now, the way this pet works is that out of all of its spawn points, only one can be up at a time. So that's how it works. So I think it's basically 100% that one is up all the time. It's just all about finding the one that's currently up. So not too hard to get. 3 breeds available to it. I'd say all 3 can be pretty viable, but the Power one, I would say, is kind of the best. Taking advantage of Sunlight with Nature's Touch, or Dazzling Dance with Flurry. Just pretty versatile and overall pretty great pet that not a whole lot of people use. So yeah, Golden Chirper. Now, last but not least, my absolute favorite pet in the game currently, being Renisha Runt. I love this pet. Its whole design, the fact that it's super tiny. I'll show you right here. Look at that tiny little thing. Look at that little runt. Name suits you quite well. But yeah, Renisha Runt. 250 polished pet charm, so quite the expense there, or you can get it off the auction house. Prices will vary, but I think I got mine for pretty cheap. Yeah, absolutely love this pet, as well as its move set here. You have the choice between both Call Lightning or Sandstorm, both hitting really damn hard. The build that I prefer is Zap, Stormflies, and Call Lightning. That way you can deal extra damage with Zap on the Call Lightning. And overall, pretty fun and potentially upper tier pet in some situations. So yeah, you should run it. Definitely pick this pet up if you haven't already. I absolutely love it. So yeah, that will finally do it for my Shadowlands top tier PvP pet battle pets in the current meta here. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed this one. I've got, again, all of the pets right here, as well as the honorable mentions right here. I will leave a list for both in the description below, in case if you would like to see that there. So yeah, please be sure to let me know what you think, as well as any pets that you would have loved to see, or some pets that you feel like are top tier and whatnot. So yeah, again, thanks so much for watching. Really hope you guys enjoyed once again. And this is Kovak, and I will see you all in the next one. And until next time, have a nice day.